21st century China is a nation on the rise. Its economy and industry growing at lightning speed. But the country faces a huge challenge. The north is drying up. China's growth is threatened.
Northern China's water shortage is affecting its social and economic development. The situation is critical.
Enter one of the most ambitious engineering projects of modern times.
The South to North Water Diversion Project is absolutely essential for solving North China's water shortage.
A record-breaking chain of waterways, dams, tunnels and giant aqueducts to rescue China's parched north. Nothing has been tried on this scale before. It's a giant gamble. China's engineers are stepping into the unknown. "6 a.m. on the outskirts of Beijing. Two researchers carry out a reconnaissance in China's battle with nature. Their task? To monitor Beijing's underground water reserves.
We collect water pressure and temperature data from these outdoor test points in order to record changes in water levels underground in Beijing.
你测个水位吗？
能测吧？我读这个数，我看一下这个数的最近变化怎么样吧。
20多吧，不到30。
潜水。
Today's news isn't good. The results are further evidence of a worrying trend. Research from across northern China shows water reserves are shrinking. Supplies are stretched to the limit. China's battle with water is a result of its geography and climate. Irrigated by some of Asia's largest rivers, southern China is green and fertile. But the north is a different story. Few rivers and low rainfall make this region of China naturally dry and semi-arid. Add intensive agriculture, rapid urban development and climate change to the mix, and the situation becomes critical. If nothing is done, scientists estimate by 2030, northern China's taps will completely run dry.
造成北方水资源短缺。
The shortage of water in northern China is caused by the region's dry climate. Population growth and economic and social development have made the situation even worse.
Something must be done, and fast. So, enter the three-pronged South-North Water Diversion Project. Still in the planning stage, the western route will divert water from the Yangtze headwaters to replenish the Yellow River. The 1,267-kilometre central route will divert water from the Han River to the northern cities of Beijing and Tianjin. Following the course of the Grand Canal, the eastern route will convey water to northeast China. Every year, the project will divert the equivalent of 570 times the water held by the Caspian Sea, the world's largest lake. Pushed, flushed and carried by a chain of giant constructions, which together make up the world's largest building project.
If we don't move water from other regions and build the South-North Water Diversion Project, it'll be impossible to support economic and social development in the north.
The most important link in the chain is the source of the central route. Danjiankou Reservoir will be the giant water tank feeding the taps of northern China. It holds enough water to supply New York City for 13 years. That's not enough to quench the North's thirst. The reservoir's capacity must increase by a massive 60%. But the Danjiankou Dam is too small to hold that amount of water. It needs to grow in height by an extra 4 stories.
Building a new dam is like drawing on a blank piece of paper. You design how you like, but to enlarge a dam, you have to first carefully study the old one before putting pen to paper.
Zhang Xiaoting is the dam's chief engineer. He must enlarge the 50-year-old dam using new concrete. The problem is, different vintages of concrete don't mix. When poured and set as one structure, standard construction concrete can withstand hundreds of kilograms of pressure. But if new concrete is poured directly on top of old, it's a different story.
This experiment shows that, despite concrete being strong, if we pour new concrete on top of old without surface treatment, the combination is fragile and weak. It breaks apart with very little force.
Scaled up, this weakness would spell disaster. In 1928, the St. Francis Dam in California collapsed, releasing a wave that swept everything before it. 450 people were killed. Newsreel depictions showed the horrifying scale of the disaster. Later analysis revealed the dam's failure was due in large part to the poor join between its concrete wall and the rock valley. This scenario is engineer Zhang's worst nightmare. He knows he must forge an indestructible bond between the old and new portions of the Danjiankou Dam. So, he's brought in the demolition guys. Beginning in 2005, teams of explosive experts blew apart the dam's upper layers. And painstakingly scoured long grooves across its face. Next, Zhang's engineers drilled thousands of steel rods into the dam's broken-up exterior. Together, the chiseled grooves and steel rods anchored the fresh concrete poured on top, creating a super-strong bond between the old and new structures. Over 4 years, the dam grew centimetre by centimetre, both in thickness and height, eventually reaching the 50-story target in 2009. The first building block of the world's most ambitious construction project is complete. Zhang reflects on his team's work.
一旦丹江口大坝加高工程全面完工，南水北调中线工程也。
When the Danjiankou Dam heightening project is complete, we hydro engineers will be very proud to see water from the Han and Yangtze rivers helping the people of Beijing and Tianjin.
这感觉非常骄傲和自豪的事儿。
The central route of the water diversion project is off to a good start. From Danjiankou, it's downhill all the way to Beijing. But over on the eastern route, engineers face an uphill battle, literally, to get the water to northern China. Dawn in Shandong province. The engineers building the Hangzhuang pumping station are up early.
你看到我的岸边站了个人没有？拿了个彩旗。你就靠石头这个位置，那边不行，那边浅了。
Today marks a crucial milestone in the project to save northern China from drought.
尽量靠近一点哈，慢一点，看慢一点，别着急。
The South-North Water Diversion Project will eventually divert almost 50 billion tonnes of water each year via 3 routes from the wet south to the parched north. Engineers hope 5 state-of-the-art pumps will be the driving force behind the project's eastern route, if the delivery goes smoothly. For half of its 1,467-kilometre length, the eastern route's gradient is uphill. Without help, water the engineers want to go north will flow the wrong way. Their ambitious solution is building 22 pumping stations to push the water in the right direction. Ninth in the chain is Hangzhuang. It will pump water north into a series of lakes. The man in charge of its construction is Chief Engineer Zhao Xiaomao. His station must pump water up a steep incline at a rate that would fill 3 Olympic swimming pools every minute. 5 pumps at the bottom of the structure will do all the pushing. They work by spinning angled blades called impellers. These give water enough energy to overcome gravity. But pumping that much water 365 days a year makes for one big electricity bill. Zhao's team must find a way to keep costs to a minimum.
During the design of the Hangzhuang pumping station, everyone wanted to increase the pump's efficiency. It's the most important aim of our design.
A pump's induction motor achieves an efficiency of around 75%. The rest is lost in friction and heat. Hangzhuang's engineers needed more than 81% efficiency. To meet their target, they turned to state-of-the-art technology. Dr. Patrick Luck is a world expert on the mechanics of permanent magnet motors. Their components are made from rare supermagnetic metals. The result is more energy is converted into motion. Put head-to-head with an induction motor, these rare metals make a dramatic difference to efficiency.
So these motors, they have the similar speed, delivering the same torque. And the 2 readings shows me that the permanent magnet machine is 50% more efficient than that of the induction machines.
For the cost-conscious designers of Hangzhuang, installing permanent magnet-powered pumps was a no-brainer.
This 5台泵跟所有的配件都过来了哈，都过来了，一次过来完了。总共多少件呢？里面？一共48件，48件。
But before they're up and running, Zhao needs to get his hands on them. Which means moving 300 tons of pump worth millions of dollars off the delivery barge and onto dry land. To make the move, Zhao's ordered a giant 80-ton crane. He holds his breath as the first 60-ton pump is lifted into the air. The pump finally touches down. In a week's time, Zhao and his team will begin installation.
After the preparation comes the installation stage. I feel excited because after that, construction of the pumping station is more or less complete.
By sunset, the last of the pumps is offloaded onto terra firma. Construction on the eastern route stays bang on schedule. But the central route has reached one of the most challenging obstacles on its 1,200-kilometer journey. The Sha River. A complex, unpredictable waterway with tough geology. To cross it, engineers must design a record-breaking solution. Northern China, October 2009. The worst drought here in 60 years has dried up riverbeds, withered crops, and left millions facing severe water shortages. With rainfall decreasing year by year and groundwater reserves at critical levels, the region's future is under threat. China's remedy is on a grand scale. A network of man-made waterways to convey billions of tons of water from the lush south to the dry north. The project's central route will take water 1,200 kilometers from Danjiangkou Reservoir to Beijing. Just 200 kilometers into the journey, it meets the Sha River. In the dry season, the Sha doesn't look much of an obstacle. But this narrow river is at the center of a much wider geographical feature. From the air, the extent of the river's wet season meanderings is revealed. The best way to take the diverted water across is by a giant aqueduct high above the Sha that spans the entire area. Step forward Zhao Tinghua of the Henan Water and Power Engineering Company. The team are designing an aqueduct with the best combination of strength and low weight to span the Sha. They have millennia of raised aqueduct construction as inspiration. "2,000 years ago, Roman engineers built hundreds of kilometers of them to quench the thirst of the empire's cities. Rome itself had a network of rectangular channeled aqueducts supplying the capital with daily water. In the 21st century, Chinese engineers evolved the tried and tested Roman blueprint with the Sao River Aqueduct. Its flow capacity was a Chinese record. Zhao's design to cross the Sha must go even further. he must rewrite the record books once again and double the Sao's flow capacity to a rate that can fill an Olympic swimming pool in 6.5 seconds. That means it's got to be big. But the Xia's geology is so soft that a heavy aqueduct will sink into the ground unless it has massive reinforcement. And that would double the project's cost. That's a no-go. So Zhao set his team the challenge of designing an aqueduct that was strong, but also very light. After months of testing, they think they found the answer. Exchange the traditional rectangular shape for a new profile, the U shape.
We found that a U-shaped aqueduct has many advantages over a rectangular shape. Structurally, it's better at bearing heavy loads and is stronger. Hydrodynamically, it's better. And during construction, quality control is easier to achieve.
The tests reveal that when filled with hundreds of tons of fast-flowing water, a rectangular design's 90-degree angles are put under extreme stress. But the sweeping curve of a U-shaped aqueduct has no stress points, allowing construction of stronger and so lighter channels. The U-shape approved, Zhao's team pieces together the aqueduct's blueprints. 200 individual sections, each weighing the equivalent of 3 fully loaded airliners, make up 2 channels. Supporting them is a series of giant concrete piles.
We have invested a lot of manpower and energy designing the Xia River Aqueduct. We are looking forward to the completion of the project and seeing the water transferred to the north.
Design complete, Zhao passes the baton to the man responsible for building it. Chief Engineer Wang Penghui.
This project is the most difficult I've worked on. To make a concrete aqueduct of this scale and then install it is unprecedented in China.
To make matters worse, the construction site is hundreds of kilometers from a factory that could prefabricate the aqueduct sections. So Wang has to build each one from scratch, right here on site.
这个钢筋已经基本上快上完了，是吧？
钢筋64吨全部装完。
Each skeleton section requires almost 14,000 steel bars.
那个焊缝该检查的检查了吗？
焊缝就是端头这部分钢筋比较密的地方，它有一点正在调整，马上就焊接完了，明天准备包烟。
The entire aqueduct rests on the precision of every weld. Each one is meticulously checked and double-checked.
那你让大家把该完善的抓紧时间完善了。行。
After passing quality control, workers sandwich the steel skeleton between 2 halves of a mold and pour concrete inside. Once set, they remove the mold and the section is ready for installation. For that, Wang needs a machine capable of some serious heavy lifting. So he's called in the largest crane ever used on a Chinese aqueduct construction project. The height of a 13-story building. What makes it special are its swiveling wheels that allow it to move to any part of the site, and its role in an ingenious installation process. The crane will lift each 1,200-ton section onto a trolley positioned on top of the aqueduct. The trolley then rolls the section down the aqueduct to the installation area. When in position, a second crane will lift and place each section on top of its support piles. This innovative production line will make and install 3 giant aqueduct sections a week. Today, Wang has a special visitor. For the first time, Zhao from the design team is on site. He wants to find out whether his U-shaped design is causing any problems.
哎，周总，
哎，王总你好，你好。现在情况进展咋样？
咱们这个钢筋绑扎的已经基本上完成了，包括咱们环相的跟这个纵向的预应力钢脚线已经全部绑扎完了。
现在仪器买上了吗？
尺寸给咱们图纸让我们检查过，应该没有大的问题。
After a thorough inspection, Zhao delivers his verdict.
I'm very excited because we are seeing the results of all our hard work.
Once the Sha River aqueduct is complete, water will pour northwards to Beijing. But 150 kilometers downstream lies the biggest obstacle on the central route, the mighty Yellow River. Crossing it will test Chinese engineering prowess to the limit. Midday at the Yellow River construction site. Work has come to a grinding halt. Deep underground, the giant machine tunneling beneath the riverbed has broken down. Every minute it's out of action, the project falls behind schedule. The clock is ticking. For the engineers and workers on site, getting it back up and running is top priority. The tunneling is part of the world's largest construction project. 3 man-made waterways that will divert close to 50 billion tons of water each year from China's wet south to the dry north. 350 kilometers into its journey from Danjiangkou to Beijing, the water of the central route must cross the mighty Yellow River. It's the world's 6th longest waterway. And at the intersection with the central route, it's 700 meters wide. The success of the South-North Water Diversion Project depends on finding a way across. A job that's fallen to Chief Engineer Cao Jianfeng.
现在我们现场有什么这个影响我们动构机掘进的这些因素吗？比如说材料运输或者是地质有什么变化吗？
站的都一切正常。
好，没有出现质量问题。
He's implementing an ambitious plan. The digging of a pair of 8-meter-wide tunnels, each 4 kilometers long, to convey the equivalent of 1 million bottles of water per second under the Yellow River.
这个工程是我经历过的最难的一个工程。
This is the most difficult project I've worked on.
本身设计的难度比较高，
We have to dig a 30-meter deep tunnel under the river, which with all the unexpected problems we're going to encounter is very challenging.
The tunnels must take the water downhill, under the riverbed and then back up, emerging above ground on the Yellow River's north bank.
水膨胀线条条一定要按图纸上站好，好吧？这个对我们工程非常重要，好吧？那好，小郭，那我们一块到现场去看一下。好嘞。
The problem is, water doesn't flow uphill. Their solution to this problem is ingenious in its simplicity. Common sense suggests that water flows from a high to a low elevation. But not so obvious is that water in a pipe will do this even if for part of its journey it dips below the elevation of its endpoint and is forced to travel uphill.
假如说这一侧是我们最东的。
If this is the south side of the tunnel, and this is the north side of the tunnel,
水呢是从南岸的进口流到这个。
the water is pushed through from one side to the other due to the pressure difference caused by gravity.
通过这个压力差流到这个最东的出口，实现水的自流。
The designers of the Yellow River crossing took this principle and scaled it up, carefully ensuring that the tunnel's exit points were lower than their entry points. The design in place, Cao now needs to dig the 2 4-kilometre tunnels under the Yellow River. So he's called in some heavy metal. Weighing in at 980 tons, the tunnel boring machine, or TBM, drills through the ground using fierce-looking blades mounted on a cutting head. Judging by its size and mean looks, you might think the TBM is unstoppable. But as engineer Cao has discovered, this mighty machine has an Achilles heel. Each year, the Yellow River dumps 200 million tons of silt along its course. And it turns out this is a TBM's worst nightmare.
The biggest challenge for the TBM digging under the Yellow River is clay. This clay is dry, but underground, it's very thick and sticky. The clay can stick to the cutter head and jam it, making digging very difficult.
And today, the Yellow River's testing geology is about to give Cao a big headache. The TBM has come to a standstill. It looks like the cutting head may be jammed. His only option is to send workers down to find out what's wrong. Diagnosing problems with the TBM is a dangerous business. To maintain good contact with the cutting surface, the TBM's blades are pressurized to 3 times atmospheric pressure. Workers must spend time in a hyperbaric chamber to adjust their bodies. Any mistakes, and just like a deep-sea diver, they could suffer the bends. But it's a process that takes over an hour. The project is losing time and money. Engineer Cao needs his TBM operational and fast. And if that's not bad enough, 600 kilometers away, scientists grapple with an even bigger problem. Widespread pollution threatens to derail the entire project. Shandong Province, eastern China. A team of students from Beijing has traveled from the capital to a remote stretch of countryside. Their mission is to gather plant and water samples from an innovative biology experiment. It could avert a major threat to the South-North Water Diversion Project, the visionary plan to rescue northern China from crippling droughts. Decades of heavy industry and intensive farming have left eastern China's waterways polluted with phosphates and nitrates. The danger is that the billions of cubic meters of water passing through the project's eastern route will become contaminated, making the water undrinkable once it reaches the north. The sampling team is in Shandong on the orders of the man who's been given the task of saving the project. Professor Zhang Huayong of North Beijing Electric Power University.
The Chinese saying goes, the purpose of learning is to serve the community. If our research can solve this problem, my students and I will be delighted.
His idea is to harness nature to solve the problem.
把这个就是死亡的和生存的进行一个对比。
Particular plants and microorganisms have the power to filter harmful phosphates and nitrates from water. If he can find the correct combination, Professor Zhang thinks these could transform the polluted areas into a purified paradise. The theory needs testing in the field. So he's planted a giant outdoor laboratory. And put it around a crucial section of the eastern route, the Nansa Lake. It's right in the middle of the most polluted area.
Nanshi Lake is a very important part of the eastern route. It's connected with 53 rivers, covering 3,000 square kilometers. If we don't solve the problem in the Nanshi Lake, then the water quality of the eastern route cannot be guaranteed.
Professor Zhang has created dozens of artificial wetlands, packed with pollution-busting plants and organisms, clustered around the dirty waterways feeding Nansa Lake. The scale of the cleanup is unprecedented. He needs solid data to show the ecosystem is working, which he hopes is locked in the samples the students have brought back from the field trip. They waste no time preparing the first test. It's hopeful news. Next, the students prepare tests for overall water quality. This is the key test to discover if the experimental wetlands are working. It's the moment of truth for Professor Zhang's natural purification factory. He needs the result from the spectral analysis to be below 2 milligrams of nitrates per litre. After a nervous wait, the results are in.
数值非常好，在我们的期望值之内。
好的，看来人工湿地生态系统确实对于除氮就有很大的潜力。
是。
It's been a long haul, but Professor Zhang and his team have done it.
Our hard work has been worth it. I hope that this method can be used widely and with great success.
The water on the eastern route will now be fit to drink. But the central route still hangs in the balance. Engineers are in a race against time to repair the huge tunnel boring machine and get the ambitious Yellow River crossing back on track. Work on the South-North Water Diversion project has ground to a halt. 30 meters underground, the giant TBM machine tunneling beneath the Yellow River has broken down. Its blades are jammed, and Chief Engineer Cao is in a race against time to fix them.
好，那我现在带2个人下去，看一下发生什么情况。
2 workers sent to investigate are finishing up inside a hyperbaric chamber, necessary before entering the TBM's pressurized forward compartment. Once outside, they instantly see the problem. Sticky clay has jammed the mechanism. Time is crucial.
It's very important that we fix problems with the cutter-head quickly. That's the only way we'll be able to meet our deadlines.
After an hour of back-breaking work, the cutter head is clear. Cao patiently waits for news. With the TBM operational, the tunnel under the Yellow River is back on track. Once work is complete, the last major obstacle on the central route will be conquered. From here, water can flow downhill all the way to Beijing. Across China, work continues on the world's largest construction project. For the designers and engineers, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
After its completion, the South-North Water Diversion Project will benefit huge numbers of people. Personally, I feel proud and honored to be part of this project.
It's a great honor for me to participate in such a large project. It has fulfilled my theoretical curiosity, and I feel very happy contributing my knowledge to society.
I think this is an important stage in my life. The South-North Water Diversion Project will probably only happen once in Chinese history. I'm proud to be the chief engineer of the Xia River Aqueduct.
But there still could be delays. Back at the Yellow River crossing site, work has once again come to a halt. Engineer Cao swings into action. But this stoppage is no cause for alarm. The TBM has finally broken through. Cao and his colleagues have succeeded in crossing the Yellow River. It's time for them to enjoy a well-deserved celebration. The biggest reward for Cao and his fellow engineers is knowing, thanks to their hard work, the world's biggest hydro works will be fully operational by 2014. This world record-breaking system of aqueducts, canals, tunnels and pumping stations should ease the spectre of drought from China's parched north. For the moment at least, the people of Beijing and northeast China can be confident their taps won't run dry.